Hey Saggy, what's up? Welcome to your guys' love reading. Okay, so let's start with how your person feels about you. I don't know why, but there's a focus on like feeling full. Maybe that's like, I don't know, related or not related to, it's like dry lips or like full lips or something. I don't know. I can't really tell you where I'm going with that, but those are the two feelings that I'm starting your reading out with. And my brain said, go ahead and say that. How does Sagittarius person feel about them? Whoa, holy crap. Oh, weird. Okay. Okay, well, I'm leaving this in the challenge position because that's how it came out. There's also this one kind of as a challenge to that, so we'll let it be there. And the world. Okay, Saggy, what is going on with your person? We're going to need some clarification here, too. So how do they feel about you, Saggy? Whoa, and then the devil just came out. Should I keep that? I'm gonna keep it, and if it makes sense, it does. And if it doesn't, then maybe it's kind of coming out of your fear, or theirs. Okay, so starting off with the Ace of Swords in the challenge position. Why is the Ace of Swords the challenge here? Ooh, Sagittarius, I get like a vibe from you of being like very, very talkative or very, very forward. Like maybe there's something that you're wanting to ask. Okay, so yeah, it's almost like I feel like this person is viewing you as someone who wants clarity on something, but maybe doesn't know the right questions to ask, or can't like bring themselves to ask something or say something. Give me one more on this, because okay, so Sagittarius. I have a feeling this is going to be the fear, just from what I'm seeing here. So Sagittarius, I think that your person's viewing you as someone who doesn't quite like wants clarity, isn't asking the questions that they're expecting you to ask, which we can also clarify those in just a minute. But it's almost like they're wondering why they're getting such like strong building energy from you, and such strong like it, you know, like wants to be a team, maybe even wants to be married or wants to be in commitment. And then like wants all this stability, but it's almost like they're kind of seeing that maybe you're not asking certain questions. What does Sagittarius' person like expect here? Okay. Okay, Sagittarius. Your person is wondering why you're not directly, it's like you're being direct with everything, with all of these other things that maybe add to the connection but don't get to the heart of it. The things that I think that they're wondering if you're going to ask is like something about their employment. There's some kind of it seems like a insecurity on their end, that they are feeling like insecure about their employment, and they're wondering if you're going to ask like something about the stability of that. Maybe if you guys do come together. I wonder if too they've like had a bad reputation before, or I don't know. It's like either your person feels like they have a bad reputation, or they've had a bad reputation, or your person feels like they, what am I trying to say? they have some kind of a brain thing going on that seems obvious to everyone else, but no one confronts them on it. So it's almost like that they have anxiety, or that they are always trying to like evade, you know, emotions, or evade like the harder conversations or something. And there is kind of a line here, and this is just kind of my intuition popping up, and it's not really in the cards, it's just a thread that I can see here, is that I wonder if you're avoiding asking about those specific topics because you do perceive some kind of insecurity there, or like you're not trying to make them feel a certain way bad about whatever's going on. And I think the other thing is that they're trying to figure out why you're not asking them about their either there's some kind of like instability in their past relationships. There's some kind of disharmony about it now. There seems to be some kind of separation. If you're in separation with this person, I wonder if you're like kind of making small talk around them. Like if there's this, not necessarily a no contact, but there's some kind of a split here. It's almost like they're wondering, why aren't you just saying like, why are we separated or something? Essentially, you might feel like you're dealing with a bit of a like closed mouthed person, you know, like someone who it's hard to get them to open up. It's like you can tell what's going on because you're you, but it's hard for them to like just outright talk about it or say things about it. And there might be some kind of a dynamic here where it's like they're trying to not be perceived, but you can't help but perceive them. And then it's like you can tune into some kind of insecurities, and then they don't really understand that you're, it sounds like having grace or having some kind of understanding and support for them, or like love for them. And I almost feel like they would feel like they're not having that for you back. I don't know. Those who judge themselves really hard tend to judge other people quite, you know, harshly too. So I wonder if maybe your person just has a hard time loving themselves, and then kind of like plays everything out in their head, and it's not super accurate because they didn't give you the chance to respond in your own way, or they're only thinking about the thing that they're thinking about and not what you're looking at. It's almost like if you're trying to build with this person, you're looking at all of these aspects of them, and you're trying to see like what is going good in their life, and they would only be looking at like what isn't going strong in their life and wondering why that's not an issue for you or something. Anyways, we're going to move on from that energy because we're asking how they feel about you. And it kind of turned into you maybe needing to step up and talk about how you feel about them. So it kind of like evaded the question a little bit. So I'm going with the King of Pentacles in the reverse. Justice. Okay. So they could be seeing you as having some kind of job loss, or maybe you have a strong career, or you have like full control over your money. There's no one else that seems to be dipping into that. There's some kind of like it can go back to self pretty easily. If you are single, I mean, whether you are single or not, it just seems like you have your money to yourself. I don't think that that's the problem. I think that they're just viewing you as somebody who, it's like you're justice from a situation. So maybe you were in a situation where you didn't have control over that, or maybe you had some kind of a payout because of a divorce or because of something like that. And so it's like that seems to be an energy where I actually get quite a bit of understanding around this, but also some questions. Just they haven't asked them yet is kind of how it's kind of how I'm reading it, is like they see you as being in equity. So if you are fully in control of your resources and finances and your time and all of that stuff, but this is like building a partnership, and maybe to a, you know, neurotypical person that could be very counterintuitive to building with someone. It's like, for whatever reason, this person understands, Sagittarius, that like this is your right to be in this energy right now. It's your recovery, respite, or justice from a previous situation. The other thing that I think they're wondering is like, is this buildable with both of our kind of stuff not being something that looks like it's combining, or something that looks like it's enough when combined, or something like that? I get that kind of being something that they are looking at more so intuitively than directly asking you. Also, I don't know that you would have picked up directly on, maybe you would have picked up directly on that, is that they kind of shy away from talks about money and stuff. But they talk about like the direction they want to go, but then the logistics of it, you guys don't really talk about that stuff. Tell me about why the Six of Cups is here in the upright, for why Sagi's person, how Sagi's person feels about Sagi. I don't know why, but I feel like this is their intentions towards you, and that's just like a weird feeling that I'm having. Okay, ooh, it's this one. Hold on. It's this one. Okay, whoa. I'll read those. Okay. Ho. Saggy. Okay, your person is very complex. They're very dynamic. I used to ask the people in the hospital when my son was in there, like when he was living in there, they used to call him dynamic all the time. And I'd be like, why do you always call him dynamic? Like, oh, that's like a friendly word. Okay. And then they were calling him dynamic when he was like in some crisis. And I was like, that's the word that you use to not scare the parents in the room, because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what to expect. And instead of saying like, you know, we've got a firecracker here and we don't really know what to do, you can say, he switches from one to the other. Like, okay, now we know to expect that. I wonder if your person's a bit like that, a bit dynamic. I gotta say though, I really like their energy. It's just like, I think that they don't love their energy, but I think that you do. Like, I think you can get down with it. So why the Six of Cups has their intentions, I don't know why that's coming through. They are trying to give you maybe what you didn't have before. Maybe there's some talks about that, some talks of like healing what you didn't have before. They're also trying to meet you in like friendship first, or meeting you in this space of like where your inner children can meet together. That sounded weird. Where your inner child can meet together. Maybe they're trying to get, if you have children and this other person has children, or if at least one of you guys has children, I get that there is this sense of wanting to, you know, like introduce different aspects of each other's lives, so that there can be some learning about what to expect down the road. It might feel rushed. There might be something that feels rushed about that. That maybe if you feel like you're feeling rushed about that, don't be afraid to slow down. Maybe there's something that wants to happen, but it's like, maybe it would be better next week or something. Don't be afraid to say that to them. If that's truly your preference, go for it. If they're saying that to you, try to have understanding for that, right? Like sometimes we just get feelings and we need to sit with them, and it doesn't dictate what happens next. It just dictates how well we can listen to ourselves throughout our life consistently to make the right moves for ourselves. It's not always about the other person. I don't know why I'm giving that talk right now, but we'll move on from that. So I get that your person feels a bit self-critical. They have a hard time kind of loving themselves. Their intentions is to like almost love you in a way that they don't know how to love themselves. The other way of looking at this is that they're trying to love you in a way where you deserved to have that before, and maybe you didn't, and that's something you're healing from, and that's something that you're being clear about. Like, you want to be treated a certain way, like there's a bottom line for you. So maybe that's you coming in saying like, I need to be respected. These are my, I won't tolerate being talked to disrespectfully. I won't tolerate if I bring something up and you don't acknowledge it and talk it out with me. Like certain things like that. I don't really know what it is for you. If you want to know, we can look at this for a minute. Oh, interesting. The Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. For you, it's like in the past, I think what's happened is that you've tried to bring things up and people have flat out like ghosted you, ignored you, stopped building with you, like stopped long-term planning with you. And it almost feels like you've been with some runners, Saggy. So I think that there's something about this person's energy that is like acknowledging that you will not tolerate a runner. Just like period, right? And but that also, their intention, the underlying intention of it, and I think this is more important to know than the fact that they are respecting your boundaries, is that this person's like trying very hard to give that to you, but they have a really hard time giving that to themselves. There is the Queen of Wands with the 10 of Cups here. And it's kind of like adding to this full picture. So I wonder if maybe, Saggy, you're kind of the... Oh, I was going to say like someone in the hot seat of like building this, where you're the one with like the ideas of how to build this long-term and like move the energy forward, and they kind of tend to get stagnant and stop quite easily. But then I almost said, I don't remember now. The breadwinner. Saggy, I wonder if you're kind of the breadwinner here. Or just it's not the feeling of someone who wears the pants in the relationship. I feel like neither of you would want to wear the pants. I feel like the person you're asking about wouldn't know how to wear the pants. And I feel like you wouldn't feel comfortable having that much control over someone. Like, you want to see who they are legitimately. Why else would you be okay with seeing all of these aspects unfold and trying to have patience for the other parts of them that haven't unfolded yet? Like, there's something quite wise about your energy and understanding that there's so many aspects always unfolding about people, and to not just judge a book by its cover. So, Saggy, I wonder if maybe you're kind of the kind of team leader here in helping them build this with you. I wonder if maybe your patience for them, so that they can like learn to love themselves, is what this foundation will eventually be built on. So if this is kind of like there's been pulled back energy, or it's just like you're in the interim of really not putting another foot forward, but knowing you want to, but trying to figure out how to put that foot forward next. I wonder if that's kind of the energy that you're in right now. I will leave those on the table. Okay, moving on. So we have the 7 of Swords and maybe the challenge, a slight challenge, because it's at like a 45. Maybe something about sailing for this person too. What else is at 45? Why does 3/4? Okay, cooking, baking, sailing and baking coming through. What? Maybe that's something that this person's really into. I don't know. A slight hindrance in this is there is some energy of like trickery or deception or sneaking, right? And then there's like this pseudo challenge of wondering if you should build with them. That's how they're viewing you, is looking at them like wondering if you should build with them, but maybe because of something else you have going on. So let me clarify. Oh, that was quick. Okay, the Emperor in the reverse. And what does Saggy's person think of this? Like, is this on Saggy's radar or Saggy's person's radar at all? No. Okay, Saggy. Your person is viewing you as somebody who has like kind of put a stop to, not a stop. It's just like there's this slowdown to reconnecting or something. There's a very intentional pause on your end. The way that I'm taking it from your person is that your person thinks that it's you not making a decision about them. It's you having some kind of car trouble. It's you having some kind of falling out of love, falling out of, you know, the fantasy of this person. It could also be that you're very comfortable with a certain situation. They could be perceiving that you're comfortable with a situation that you're not really comfortable with. I feel like that would be an absolute projection too. So if that's true for you, I think you would look at them and go, well, hey, buddy, you know, like if you're going to say that about me, let's also accept it about ourselves here, there. So there's kind of something coming through about that's how they're interpreting this. And the way that you're interpreting it is that you're trying to work on like having self-control. Like it has nothing to do with them. It's about whether or not you can like rein yourself in, have that mental control, have that mindfulness, not feel like you have to make everything happen yourself, or like there's time kind of, you know, chomping at your ankles and just trying to like let a situation unfold. It seems like that's a really strong value of yours right now that you're working on and like working through in your life in general. And that is like what you feel is happening every time you pull your energy back, even slightly. But that's not how they view it, because they're, I think, taking it more personally than that. Is that your problem? No. Do you want to communicate that at some point? If it comes up, maybe, you know, maybe. Let's see what the devil is about here. Yeah, anxiety, fear. It literally comes out as fear. Isn't that funny? And anxiety. Okay, I'm going to leave the world there, and then I'm actually going to switch it up because this is our clarification deck. So I'm going to get our other deck to clarify it. Ooh, hello. Knight of Wands. Okay. Knight of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. Okay. So the other way that your person's seeing you, Saggy, is that you are trying not to give in to like your temptations or your addictions or your dependency, your codependency, maybe escapism from discontent that something else is happening in your life. Maybe you feel powerless about a situation. It's like you're trying to work on, and I think that they see this too, or they would, I'll explain how they see it in a minute, but like, I think what's happening is that you, Saggy, are trying to really rein yourself in and figure out how to just be like more mindful or more consistent in your own energy. And like, instead of just like running forward and then tripping and then you need to pick yourself up again, I feel like you're just trying to, it's like you've put like heavy boots on yourself and you have to work really hard to just like put one foot in front of the other. It's like that's your challenge because you can run really easily, but that's not how things work out for you, you know? And so it's like you have the energy of someone who can do that. I think here it says you are transmuting that energy within yourself because you're the one heavily influencing the situation in a positive way. But right now you're working through something where that energy hasn't always suited you. You've always wanted to zip forward, and then it's like maybe it unravels the whole situation. So what I see for like you is that you're overcoming something of that. What I see for them is they're almost needing to overcome this fear that you are coming off a little bit hot and cold towards them, because it has nothing to do with them, I think. I think if anything, you're very attracted to this person and you have to like tell yourself that that's not the reason to like spring load this thing. Because whenever you get in that energy where you're like, oh shoot, I'm being like too much. I need to do my coping mechanisms. I need to practice my my beliefs that are helping me on this journey. I need to, put some things into play that are good for me at this time. Maybe even just like I need to slow down. Whenever you're in that energy, I think that they take it as, oh, Saggy doesn't want to talk to me right now. Like Saggy's uninterested in me. The flame went out. Like, is it just re-sparking and then it's not, like, I'm not enough, So I kind of see that maybe there is a little bit of this, this person's insecurities are like all over the table. So I wonder if maybe that's something that you guys talk about a lot, or if that's something that you would want to mention is like, hey, like if I don't talk to you for the next few days, I'm just trying to do what's best for me mentally. Like I'm going through some things, and taking some time alone is really helpful for me. It's not a reflection of you at all. I really like you. If anything, I might like you too much, to where I wouldn't do these things. And then that would make me kind of like spin off into a direction that I don't really want to be in, that would put me further away from this situation or myself. So it's kind of like, I wonder if having those talks could be really helpful for this person. Or if for whatever reason, you guys have already been having those talks, I think that from the perspective that they're in, they don't always comprehend what you're saying. Like maybe they can hear it, but if they have that baseline insecurity, it can be hard to fully accept the thing that you're talking about, telling them that that's exactly what's happening. So the other thing I want to say is I think it's really interesting how your energy how we started asking like what's Saggy's person's energy towards Saggy. And we actually got both of your energies on the board by asking that question. So I wonder if this person is actually helping you to understand your own energy by kind of like pulling it out of you a little, or giving you an experience to really like have some footing in and some freedom to navigate. Maybe you haven't always felt like you have the freedom to navigate things, or as soon as they do, the other person ghosts. It's like as soon as you do something intentionally that actually feels good for you, the other person runs away or is no longer there or doesn't know how to do that. I feel like this person does. I could be wrong about that if you feel like they don't, but I'm going to feel like most of you guys feel like this person does do that for you, does provide a space for that. It's just they're also really working through something else. So now let's pull an Oracle card. You got the 10 of Pentacles on the bottom here. Knight of Swords, Judgment, 10 of Wands. Yeah, it's just like get comfortable with that energy. That's going to be the vein of your guys' relationship for a hot minute until it's not. Sagittarius, something I want to say here, and I don't know why I want to say this, but maybe it's just intuition, is that time doesn't really matter here. It doesn't matter if you spend a month in this energy or like 6 months in this energy. The energy is being worked through. However long you need to work through it, you should do that. Same with your person. It's like maybe in the past there's been this desire to like move forward before you're ready because you don't want to lose the other person, or because you sense that the other person feels like they're losing you. And it's like, for whatever reason, that pressure isn't here. So I just want to remind you of that, is like, if you need to postpone something till next week or till in 2 weeks or something, the person will understand, and you will have just as good of a time with them in 2 weeks or in another week. It like the focus that doesn't want to be lost here on the table is that like you need to do what's best for yourself, because that is what builds relationships like this. If you don't do that, then you start zipping around and shooting yourself in the foot, So just remember that is like time is your friend here. more time is your friend here. Like having, not taking every offer or every problem and like hovering over it, like just trying to redirect back to self, trying to come back to what's good for you, what practices benefit you daily, and then adding things into your life around that. For whatever reason, the pillar wants to be there of self. And it almost feels like maybe you feel like that's going to remove good things from your life, but it will actually only put in good things that work with you into your life, and it will remove things, some faster than others or some slower than others. It will remove things that are not meant for you, that are not meant for the life that works for you, Saggy. So, Vesta Hearth, this has been coming out so much, so I'm going to read it, but I'm also going to read this Uranus changes card. Change. One change. It's not plural. I'm going to read this first, because in numerology, you've got the 25. Oh, wait, sorry. You've got the 32, which would go to the 5. And then here you've got the 25, which would go to the 7. And I feel like this is kind of the spiritual thread going on. And this is like maybe the understanding of what the issue is. I know Vesta talks about like kind of that like a place where home feels like a constant fire burning. That's not what the card says exactly, but it's just like if home is where you hang your hat, then and like where there's always this like a burning fire, a consistently burning fire, something that gives you a safe haven, something that gives you a place to grow in, to settle into, to establish yourself within, and like establish the kind of family you want and the kind of dynamics you want. It's supposed to be something that feels good and rooted in. So maybe there's some underlying issues around family dynamics or family systems, and then the change is that like you're trying to break out of that. So number 32, Vesta calls you to be a hearth fire, to share yourself for the benefit of all, but still have enough energy left to live healthfully and give again another day. The second largest and brightest asteroid between Jupiter and Mars was named after Vesta, oldest goddess of hearth, home, the family, and the center of a strong community. The fire in her temple was never allowed to go out, and the fire in the hearth of every home was sacred to her. She did not get involved in politics or the misadventures of the other gods. Evaluate yourself and your life. Each human's task is to help reduce the total suffering on earth and increase the total joy. Your joy and suffering matter as much, neither more nor less than anyone else's. Do not burn yourself up for another's cause, nor withhold your warmth, but share what you have to offer. This is not a situation where you need to take sides. Come back to the center, to the flame, to your hearth and your core values. Focus on that center flame instead of the personalities involved. Remember what matters. Find that deep calm within. Light a candle with a prayer and use it to bring your focus to the center and let the rest fall away. Then decide, advise, and operate from there. It may be time to take a retreat, a chance to clear yourself, clear your energy fields, cleanse your environment. Reclaim your temple. If a relationship is truly of value and important to your soul, the person or team you're involved with will honor your process. Vesta warns you to share yourself rather than sacrifice yourself. Your hard work at holding the situation together may be ignored or taken for granted unless you know your worth. The gift. Find the temple within, the place of quiet safety where you can tend the fire and carry this sacred temple with you always. You got North Node and Chiron. Ooh, and Mercury. Dang. And right back to that Saggy. Okay. Saggies, I'm really excited for you. Whatever this situation is, it's like really making you think about how to achieve the thing that you want in the future, while understanding you've always wanted that, but maybe you haven't always known how to. Like, you tried to build that intentionally, but then it's like it doesn't work for whatever reason. And I think that like you in the future are moving towards some kind of healing around this, where you're already able to talk about it, but the way that you're going to talk about it, like your future energy, is by being able to talk about what you did in it and why that was successful. Like your authority in something that wasn't controlling, it was just like it was like a loving authority, you know? And then coming back into your own energy of that like 9th house, that Saggy house, being able to explore like this new side of you. And then you have solar calm clarify right after that, where it's like it's something is being extremely highlighted in the future about your ability to work through this energy. Maybe you're kind of like the black sheep of the family or something like that. And it's like this is the true Saggy path of going from the reckless Saggy into the guru, you know? Because at some point it just clicks, and Saggy's that sign that really gets to know an entire world and how it operates. And so it's really like confusing to watch the Saggy go, because it just looks like running and tripping and falling and then running to something else, and there's like no rhyme or reason. But really what Saggy's doing is they're getting the pulse of different parts of that world. And once the Saggy gets enough of the pulse and starts to understand how it operates, then Saggy can create a way to navigate within it that is just intuitive. And it's like really amazing to watch. You guys are often the masters of your career or your craft or your skill. And then you guys usually want to like move on to something else and master that too. You don't just want to be in the mundane, repetitive, whatever. You always need to be in something where you're doing multiple things and learning not just what to do, but why it needs to be done that way. Okay, so then I'm going to read change this Uranus energy. Uranus acts like a cosmic clutch. It takes us out of one gear and, after some chaos, shifts us into a new one. Uranus is the modern co-ruler of Aquarius and takes 84 years to round the zodiac. Uranus was the first planet we discovered once the telescope broke the boundary of our known solar system and coincided with the Industrial Revolution, when many technical and cultural assumptions broke apart. It embodies difference and eccentricity as it rotates in the opposite direction of most other planets and at an approximate right angle to them, with one pole pointing toward the sun. Surprise or be surprised. Be ready to shift gears. It's time to experiment and try a fresh approach or a new road entirely. If your life were a garden, now would be the time to scatter handfuls of diverse seeds, water them all, and see what grows robustly, and weed the rest later. Urgent anxiety can be a symptom of Uranian restlessness. So rather than just flailing about, look for the root cause and ask what change would actually solve the problem. What looks like a disaster may bring a wild opportunity. If you are thrown a sudden or shocking change, assume that you are being tossed out of the nest into a potentially heroic journey. Chaos can be an important catalyst, an unnerving moment caught between forms. The discomfort allows and propels you to transform. Become your most authentic, eccentric self. You are just what is needed. Uranus also encourages technical upgrades and a cutting-edge approach, whether that means acquiring new equipment or new skills. Oh, did I just realize that my camera like a little bit, is it level? I feel like it's off a little bit, like that would make it more level. Sorry if that's bothering you, either me changing it or me not having noticed that until now. Uranus electrifies. It may feel like your finger is stuck in an electrical socket. You are anxious to change, but you can spin your wheels until you shift into the new gear. The gift: prepare for an evolutionary leap. Shocking circumstances can force you to engage gifts you didn't know you had and help you transform. You are not those external attributes in transformation. You will not dissolve. A caterpillar is still internally the same creature once it becomes a butterfly. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Thanks for being here, Sag. The next one is Capricorn. Keep an eye out for that. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.